So that means the lesson we can learn from it is, if you open up, it immediately has consequences with regard to working on, also on the level of your personality. Don't think, oh, now I have become a spiritual person and the personality doesn't exist, you know. I mean, that is sheer illusion. Many philosophies say personality is just Maya, so you don't have to work on it. That is not recommendable, to put it, to put it mildly. Because also later, when you start transferring your wisdom to others, if your personality has not been purified or become integrated with sharing your experience with others, you will share it through your personality also. One example, Saint Augustine, you know Saint Augustine, huh? In the Christian tradition, was an enlightened person. He has described it. Wonderful, fantastic. His unity with what he calls God. So that was unsurpassable. I mean, you would say this man is totally holy. Despite that, he has caused much damage in Christian tradition. Not because of his God experience, because that was perfect, but he failed to work on his unprocessed past, in which he did not manage to integrate his guilt feelings, his negative attitude towards sexuality. He did not work enough about accepting his enemies, so he became the first persecutor of heretics. He was the man who put the green light on persecution of the heretics. Heretics? Heretics. So the damage done by St. Augustine, it was such a pity, because it was such a beautiful man, but he had not worked enough on his personal level also. You understand what I want to say?
That was the 5th or 6th century, right?
Yeah, exactly. 5th century. So don't say the person, because it's all spiritual, the personality is not important. Okay, step 5, purification is necessary. So you could do anything. Catharsis, there are hundreds and thousands of catharsis exercises. You can start praying to God. In my case, walking around with my enlightenment under my arm, which increasingly did not make me happy anymore because of this ego fight. Constantly fight. I thought this cannot be the purpose of life. I mean, this cannot be the purpose of spiritual life. This cannot be the purpose of enlightenment. Enlightenment cannot become a hell. That cannot be the ultimate goal, you know. So I was in real trouble.
So sometimes it seemed like it was a hell.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. I had a foundation, of course. A certain foundation was always there. But I had to suffer, really. Quite. Fighting against this tendency of putting myself at the center of the universe. Yeah. And then I said, okay, this cannot be the meaning of life, so I started searching again. And then I remembered, of course, my great experiences, and then I rediscovered the fact that it has not started with enlightenment, with dissolving into light, but it started with the lightning destroying my whole being for a while. So it started with absolute nothingness, because it's lightning, I was not there anymore, nothing, no awareness, no light, no nothing. So it started with nothingness. I was destroyed first, and then immediately after I dissolved into the light. So there was something previous to the light. And that's must have been more important because there was this sequence. One came out of the other. So there is a hierarchy of states. Well, my God, I feel the shivering now when I so the light is not the foundation of everything, like almost every spiritual teacher says. But there is something beyond still. And then I start a new quest. What is this absolute nothingness? And of course I found it with the Buddhists. They say emptiness and emptiness beyond emptiness. So I thought, oh, these guys are, they are let's say they have a good intuition about how it is, but I still was not satisfied. And then I came across literature from the Middle East, from 3,000 and more years ago, and there I found that these people in the prehistoric times, intuitively, because in the first stages of mankind, you can compare it with the fetus, lived in absolute bliss, spontaneously, huh? So in the oceanic feeling, like the fetus also feels the unity when before birth. Mankind also had this stage as mankind. And they consider everything being born out of a cosmic womb. We all live in a cosmic womb. So both the light as well as the universe, as well as we and the plants and the oceans and everything is constantly being born out of this womb and returns. And the womb itself is a vacuum, it's absolute nothingness. And there I had a link, which was much more alive for me than the emptiness beyond emptiness, because that is still so abstract. What can you do with that emptiness beyond emptiness? I knew they were right, but, and then it stops because, yeah, Nirvana, beautiful, but what, I mean, who understands Nirvana? But womb, that's another matter. Then immediately you start connecting to it. I mean, that happened in my case. A womb, a cosmic womb, is a vacuum. And what is aspect of a vacuum? That everything is drawn into it. That's the function of a vacuum, huh? Everything is drawn into it, so everything is going to be destroyed. And deep in the abyss, in its bottomlessness, everything is reborn again. I mean, you can imagine that a womb, cosmic womb, works like that.
Like a black hole?
Yeah, like a black hole. Exactly. So suddenly it was not an abstraction anymore, but there was a dynamic aspect added to it. The aspect of death, dying to the old continuously and being reborn constantly in this cosmic womb. So it became very much alive to me. And if this is the ultimate truth, I can give back my ego, which plagued me so much, having it destroyed in her womb, you know. And that is the solution. And I can get rid of my idea that the enlightenment is the ultimate thing. So my ego, I have to say it differently. If the emptiness beyond emptiness is the ultimate thing, my ego cannot identify itself anymore. You cannot identify with a vacuum, say I'm the vacuum. You can say I'm the light. That you can say. So the divine is a temptation for everybody who has attained it to proclaim I'm the light, like many teachers do. But if the light is not the ultimate, because there is something beyond which is a vacuum, you cannot say I'm the vacuum.